Let's make a squiggle bracelet with 3 beads instead of 1 in one pocket. Let's continue using metal jig. Now let's make a new bracelet similar to these, but this time let's use the smallest, teeny tiniest beads, which I believe are apatite, and I think these are 1 millimeter wide, while these were 3 millimeters wide. Can we do that? I believe we can. It's not going to be the same look as this, but I'll show you what I mean. Someone kindly explained me that these particular caps are actually used for the backs of these pegs, and it does make lots of sense, so they will not fall out if you move the jig, which is my case. I do move it quite often. And just like that, our jig is ready, all steady, and let's start beading. We are taking 1 millimeter wire. Do not take more than 1 millimeter, because if you take more, for example, if you take one, even slight difference, 1.25, then that difference will strongly affect how easy you're gonna wrap your wire around the pegs, so don't do it. And then the process is really easy. Just go between the pegs, try to be as precise as possible, but if you're not, that's absolutely fine, because you will hammer your wire later, so you will cancel any differences you might have by then, and it's gonna look very beautiful and pretty, so just trust the process. We've got curve done using all the pegs. Now we've exhausted the amount of pegs, but it's not a problem at all, because we can now start again. We just place our squiggle to the top and we continue. Very easy. And then once you have length enough, you stop your squiggle and do the ends of the wire. Once you've done, allow a couple of centimeters or even 1.5 centimeter and just cut off your wire. You've done this bit, you've saved the wire as well. You didn't use lots of it, you didn't cut it in advance, you just used exactly how much you need using the jig. And now on to the next part. Let's just finish these ends. I've taken my little tool, which is called wire rounder, and I'm just finishing the ends of the wire like this. This way I'm polishing all the sharpness away, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm just taking my round pliers and I'm gonna make a loop on this end, and this is gonna be the loop where the hook goes in. Recently I have been enjoying making the loops like this for this particular purpose, and I think they kind of look really neat when all the beads are wire wrapped on the bracelet. So something like this, and I will just straighten it a little bit off camera, and then I'll go to the other side. Now our base is done. I've made a little hook here to make sure it goes into the loop well, so it's nice and secure. And just like that, we've got the base. Now we need to hammer the base, and then we'll start beading. I'm taking my block for hammering, and then I'm taking a hammer, and it's gonna be this side. Have to hammer all the lengths while gently moving the bracelet on the hammering block. Now the base became nice and flat. It's also very sturdy, so it's gonna be harder to take it out of shape, and this is exactly what we need. We still can shape it as a bracelet, but then it's not gonna come out of shape or unbend, unswirl whatsoever when a person wears it. So this is very important that we have that actual steady base. And just like that, We are ready for beading, so what I'm doing, I'm releasing beads to the mat. These are our micro-faceted beads. They're about 1 millimeter, and it's really hard to work with them, so I'm gently releasing them to make sure that they are caught nicely on the mat and they are not spreading around. I think this is as much as I need. The wire we are taking for our beading is 0.4 millimeters. We don't need more than that. Probably we can take even less, but I prefer this particular size because it's nice and sturdy on the base and it doesn't move anywhere. And it's also gilt on copper, which means gold on copper, which means when you work with it, it doesn't slide off. So the plating doesn't slide off really easily, like, you know, with other products. So I would really recommend gilt and copper type of wire. The amount I've taken is about 1 meter 30 centimeters. This should be enough to wrap this base around with beads. Hopefully I haven't made a mistake on the size because I measured it roughly. It's always a gamble for me, so don't be like me and measure your wire beforehand. Let's wrap around our first end of the wire. This is important because our wire is not secure yet, so we just need to make sure it gets secure by doing these first wraps around. And it's not very comfortable to hold the wire at this stage, but we have to deal with this. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna seed 3 of the gemstones in one of the pockets. So instead of doing 1 as was here, we are gonna seed 3 because they're so tiny. They're 3 times less by size than those, so that's why we are gonna take more than 1, and we are gonna fill up the pocket with them. So basically this simple, just going around the bracelet. Now we are doing 1 wrapping and then moving the stone, and then 2, now we have the stone secure. We need to do 3 loops here as per previous pattern that we've started. Now we're placing the second bead into the pocket to make sure it all fits in there. And then we are wrapping again and again 3 times because we chose to wrap 3 times between the beads. And here is our half finished base. I like how it turns out, so let's continue. One bead at a time. I'm also taking it really slow here, just because I want my wire to bend perfectly around the base. At this stage I started doing it automatically. Your hands kind of get used to the pattern and you continue doing this on autopilot. And just like that, our apatite bracelet is now finished. I have changed the clasp as well. I made the hook smaller. I like it much better this way. Yeah, look at this. This is the first time I have done this. I just got this idea because I have very tiny small gemstones which I wanted to use in these bracelets, and I was just thinking of the ways how to do it, whether it would be this standard way, but then I would need very tiny loops, or would it be the same loops but just 3 gemstones in one pocket. It's the first time, so it's a good time to gather the experience and to learn. And I hope you've learned something as well from this video. I hope this has become useful and maybe will inspire you to create something similar, or just give you more ideas on more things to create. Thank you so much for being with me, and thank you so much for subscribing for my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and I will be delighted to see you on my channel again. Thank you. Bye bye.